Alright everyone, RJ here. Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm doing about a 2.5 month update on the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. Okay, so the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G, I want to start off by saying that I apologize for the light in here. For some reason, the phone I'm using right now, which is the Galaxy S22 Ultra, is making everything look dark. I don't really know why. I had the same lighting and everything, but it's making it look dark for some reason or another. So I do apologize for that. But anyway, so 2.5 months, going on 3 months. I may title it 3-month review. I really don't know. I'm kind of in between that. So anyway, the A14 5G, there is some things about it that I like and some things about it that I don't like. And I'll get into what I can here in this video. Now, when you look at the phone on the back, it reminds you a lot of the, S23 series of phones with a little 3 camera notches or 3 camera circles up there with a flash and everything. And, it's overall a really good feeling phone. Now, just to kind of recap a few specs, I'm going to kind of have it where it's kind of in the light here a little bit so you can actually see the phone. So now starting off with the display here, 6.6 inch display coming in at 1080 by 2408. So a full HD display here with a 20:9 aspect ratio with 400 pixels per inch is not bad. It's got a PLS LCD 90Hz refresh rate screen. So again, not bad for the price you can get this phone. Now, there is 2 versions for processors. If you buy the international version, you will get the Exynos 1330. Thankfully, we don't get that here in the US. Here we have the MediaTek Dimensity 700. And some of y'all may be saying, well, the Dimensity ain't the blah, blah. Hey, that Dimensity is a pretty good little chip, all right? Okay, so you can't bash MediaTek anymore. They're actually doing a very good job. Now, of course, it's got a glass front, a plastic back, and a plastic frame. Nothing really exciting there. It does run Android version 13 with One UI Core 5. And I'll get into the updates and stuff like that here in a minute. Now, this version here is the 4 gig, 64 gigabyte version. You can get it in a 4 gig 128, 6 gig 128, and an 8 gig 128. But you're going to pay for it, okay? For the cameras, you got triple back here, a 50 megapixel wide angle lens. It's a PDAF camera with an aperture of f1.8 and a 2 megapixel macro and depth sensor with an aperture of f2.4 and records at 1080p at 30 frames per second. The front camera is 13 megapixels with aperture of f2.0. It can also record 1080p at 30 frames per second. Now, as for the battery, we got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty solid in a phone like this. With 15 watt wire charging, so nothing really special there. And you got side-mounted fingerprint scanner, face unlock, and stuff like that. Bluetooth 5.2, dual band Wi-Fi, and all that kind of stuff. So typical stuff that you see in a lot of these budget phones and everything. But one thing, I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of the way. One thing that I completely despise. Now this is going to be I'm just going to tell you what I think about the A14 5G. All right. I hate the back of this phone, okay? The texture is horrible, okay? I thought it was like a smooth back here, but, oh, it makes your skin crawl. Oh, my God, I cannot stand the back of this phone, okay? That's why I sent a clear case. I got a new case for it, which actually looks pretty sweet, but it's not on here yet. But, the back of this phone, if you're sitting here holding it like this and you're rubbing your fingers across it, oh, it just makes your skin crawl a little bit. But on the left side here, of course, is your SIM and SD card slot. You got a noise cancel mic up top. Of course, side-mounted fingerprint scanner and volume button. And, of course, your bottom firing speaker, headphone, jack microphone, and Type-C charging. So powering the phone on by fingerprint here if I can find it. There we go. It works really good, okay? It's nothing really wrong with it. If I can find it here, I'm left-handed, so I use my pointer finger there for that. But it works fine, no issues whatsoever, and the display looks good. Samsung displays, they always look good, full 1080. Let's just kind of see where the brightness is here. The brightness is down pretty low, as you can see. So we'll go ahead right now and brighten that on up. And but we're We'll get that down about halfway there. Okay, so there we go. But Android 13, typical One UI stuff here, and the display just looks good. Okay, the phone runs smooth. Overall, I tell you one thing that I wish Samsung would do. I wish to give you the option to swipe up. Kind of like any other phone other than LG and Samsung was, where you can, where you swipe up and down for all your apps instead of left to right. I can't stand this. They are, by now, Samsung ought to have an option up here. When you push this little button up here, I'll give you an option if you want to scroll left to right or up and down, whatever the case may be, but that ain't the way it is. So overall, it's not bad. I mean, the phone, 90 hertz refresh rate, it does do okay. Not a problem whatsoever. Now, you figure that even though this is a budget line of a phone, that it would still get updates. And what, you get an update now? As I'm trying to, yeah, I've been looking for an update like crazy on this phone. There's not been one, but right now, as you're seeing, as I'm seeing, One UI Core 5.1 update. Now, of course, if you want to read this, it just kind of tells you what the update does. If you want to pause it and check that out there, as I scroll on down, and you can see it changes quite a bit of stuff here. If you want to go ahead and pause right there and read that, you can do that as well. And scrolling on down through here, we'll just skip the whole weather thing, and you can see the additional changes, Samsung Internet. And all that stuff. You can pause it right there and check that out if you wish. And security patch level up to April 1st, 2023. So, yeah, there was no update for the longest time. But I'm glad here on video, for the first time, there is an update coming through on this phone. So, it is Core, One UI Core. That ain't, the full One UI, but it's alright. This phone costs $199 if you buy it unlocked. Alright. If you want to buy this phone on a carrier like Metro with a new number, as far as I know right now, with a new number or port in, it's free. Now, I can say 100% free is 100% worth it, okay? The phone works fine. I have no issue with the phone. I've carried it. I've taken a few pictures with it. And, I may throw a few in this video here. I actually may take one right now. I got my OnePlus 11 sitting right here. So let's go ahead and turn the camera on here. And I'll just take a picture and everything. So if I can get to focus in here. It might not be the best shot. Cameras is kind of what he's like a little bit. But see, it's kind of wanting to go from bright to dark, but there's a picture right there, and you can see it. I'll bring it in a little bit better, but the quality, you can see right there, Hasselblad, gets a little bit blurry the further I go in, but it's not bad. And if I got some more pictures and everything, I'll throw those in here as well. But it's not bad. The camera quality is pretty good here on this phone. 1080p 30, I think you got electronic image stabilization here as well. Well, yeah, down here it says video stabilization is on. Does it work very well? It's there. And more here, you have your pro mode, macro, panorama, night, food, slow motion, hyperlapse. You don't get any of the fun modes that you see on some of the other Samsungs on this phone, because like I say, unless the price is dropped, it's around $199. Now, my overall experience has been good. I want to bring up a game right now. I'll bring up Asphalt 9, and I'll just show you how it works. Okay, so we got Asphalt 9 loaded up. Look at the viewing angles. They're not bad, okay? You can see here, it's not bad at all. Looking here at the viewing angles and everything. Let's go ahead and play up here and see how long it takes for it to load up and everything. Now, I do have this on the highest quality setting. You got default setting, but I went ahead and set it to the highest quality just to see how it looks. So right now, so far, it's looking pretty decent. Now we got the volume at 50%. The bottom firing speaker, get out of my way. Uh, the bottom firing speaker is not hitting on much. There's no stereo speaker, nothing like that here on this phone. And if you're playing a game, you know, or something, you're holding your, yeah, you got my way too. It's very easy. Oh, am I gonna crash? Okay, there we go. It's very easy here to kind of like just cover up the speaker. But anyway, we'll just continue to race here for just a moment here. But you can see there is no drop frame. I mean, that Dimensity 700 processor with 4 gigabytes of RAM is actually doing a pretty good job. I mean, now, if you're into those 21 gigabyte games like Genshin or whatever, you know, you may have some issue unless you're like on the lowest quality setting. But I would say overall, you know, this game right here, it works just fine. So as you've seen, games play just fine, no issue whatsoever. Now I do want to show you a Geekbench 6 test. I was really hoping that I screenshotted a test that I ran a while back, but I didn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this now. Go and click on Geekbench 6 here, Android 13. You can see everything there and all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this test. I'll be back whenever it decides to finish.
Many minutes later.
Okay, so the results are in, and you see we got a single core score of 683, multi-core score of 1711, which honestly, for the price point of this phone, and that kind of matches up with a lot of phones here in this price point. Of course, with updates and improvements, that score may change, but as of right now, this is the score. Okay, so now I'm bringing you some video footage here from YouTube. The max you can watch videos in 1080p, and it's nice scenery video here, as you can see. It may not be doing it justice, you know, going from my camera, showing you the footage here, but it looks really nice. I mean, in person, it's a very bright, very crisp, very clear, and you may not be seeing that here on video, but to be honest with you, this is a really nice display. It's not AMOLED, nothing like that, but it looks good. But yeah, here is just some video footage here on the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. So while we are here on YouTube, I mean, if you scroll up here, you can see, I mean, the scrolling is quick, it's fast. There's really no issue here with the scrolling speeds and how it works. I mean, for an everyday usage phone, you know, if you don't try to push it way too hard, this phone is going to satisfy, you know, what you need in a phone, okay? Everybody don't need a $1,000 phone. Everybody don't need a $500 phone. Sometimes you just need a phone that just works, has a decent camera, has a good display, and is just going to be able to use your social media apps and just do the normal things that you normally do. Now, I do want to get into the call quality. That's one thing that's missing a lot in videos, but I do want to hit it here. Call quality is good, okay? Nothing wrong with call quality. Call quality seems to be clear. It's not muffled, nothing like that. You can hear it nice and clear. It's got Bluetooth as well. If you want to slap some Bluetooth earbuds in your ear, you know, people do that nowadays a lot more often than just putting the phone up to their ear. But if you do have to listen to the earpiece, you see it's right up there. It's not bad. You know, the call quality is good. Now this works. Now this one here is the Metro by T-Mobile version of the A14 5G. And Metro ain't T-Mobile ain't the best in my area, but the little bit that I was able to use the network, it worked just fine. You know, I could hook to 5G, no problem. It's got some good download speeds. And the phone just works. Like I said, the phone, it just works. No issues. Ordinary, everyday usage of the phone is going to suit you just fine. You know, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever you decide to use. Unless you just really try to push this phone as hard as you can, it's going to work fine. And you got all the stuff that you need. Basically, I don't see any NFC here, but you got Galaxy wearables, smart things, Android Auto. Of course, connections up here for your Wi-Fi. Yeah, you got NFC. So you got NFC and contactless payments and all that stuff up there, and connections. Of course, you know, you can use the 3 buttons at the bottom if you don't like these swipe gestures, which, yeah, you know, 64 gigabytes of storage. Not a whole lot, but it does have an SD card slot to be able to enhance that. And of course, with Samsung and their One UI, you are able to change a lot of things. You can change the colors of icons, change everything that you want to change. And that's what I like about One UI, is the fact that you're able to do so much, with the phone. Now look in here, you can see optimizing the phone, closing everything out here. I need to change this color. This color is just not, nah, it ain't nah. But the battery, I also forgot the battery. Hit that here before I get off here. But the RAM, 1.7 free of 4 gigs. Now, when you push on this, you do have RAM Plus, which gives you the ability for 2 extra virtual RAM or 4 gigs of virtual memory. You can turn that on or off. It's just whatever you decide that you want to do. I don't see where it helps a whole lot. And you always have to clean. This stuff here is always open. You can clean it right now, and within a minute from now, those same apps will be right back there again. So yeah, But overall, I would say that the phone is good. Would I want to pay $200 for this phone? There's a lot of phones out there that offer more RAM, better processors, more storage, better speakers, that are around the same price, if not a little bit cheaper. You're paying for that Samsung name. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, go to a different carrier, get it for free, you can't beat free. That's just, you can't beat free. But if you're paying out of pocket full price, $200 for this phone, there's a lot of phones out there. If you're on the T-Mobile network, I would say AT&T network, but we know how they are with a lot of phones, so I don't recommend AT&T or Cricket. I recommend Boost Mobile for your AT&T needs, because it's a whole lot better in my personal opinion. And I'll always say that in about every video that I do, just to drive it on home there. But battery life, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, Dimensity 700, battery life is good. Battery life is always subjective on how you use your phone, the amount of games you play. If you keep your face glued to your phone 24/7, of course it's going to be different. Of course, it also all depends on the coverage area that you're in. If your coverage is bad and it's constantly having to search for better signal or better LTE or 5G, it's going to drain your battery a whole lot more, okay? So if you use Bluetooth, it's going to use it even more. It's all subjective. From my test, it has been very acceptable without any issues. So I have drugged this out long enough, but I just wanted to give you my real thoughts of this phone after using it for nearly 3 months. It's a good phone. If you get it for free with a carrier, I highly recommend it. $200 for an unlocked model. It's a little touch and go. But anyway, if it's helpful and informative in any way, hit that like button. Any questions you may have, leave it down below. If you're new around here and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Clicking that bell for all post notifications. I sure would appreciate it. That would help out a whole lot. Y'all have a good one, and thanks for watching.